Get this ball rolling. Welcome everybody to another version of Ops Experts Club. We have made it to July. It's summer in some places, probably where Kimberly lives, not where I live, maybe not where Savannah lives. Kicking
It's
off summer.
right now. It's so summer.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, welcome to summer. We've almost made it to a full cycle in Ops Experts Club. I think we have 5 more months to go. And we've traveled around the sun together. So looking forward to the second half of this revolving experience. Savannah is here to grace us with her presence, and not only her presence, but her knowledge. So thank you, Savannah, for joining us today. I believe you have some exciting things to talk about. And I won't even intro the topic because I know nothing about this topic. So I'll even let Savannah topic it herself. So why don't you let us know what you're looking at?
So today we're going to be diving in, talking about Canva. So we've talked a little bit about Canva on previous calls, but haven't really done a deep dive. So I just kind of wanted to show everybody what Canva can do. And I know that it seems like it's like, why are we talking about this on an ops call? Like this is, that's a creative thing. But the glory of Canva is it's kind of where ops and creative come together. It's a great tool for if you're just beginning your organization, or your organization is really small still and you don't have someone on team who is super creative and comfortable making like designs, websites, logos, ads, that kind of thing. You can do all that in Canva and it does most of the work for you. So it's really base level stuff. So you're not having to invest a ton of money into an outside designer to try and get their stuff in. So it's where creative and ops come together and live in harmony. So I got to start by pointing out that I brought in my art teacher vest, and I'm wearing, even though it is like summer hot here, but I'm wearing my Bosch Garden of Earthly Delights jacket. It's amazing. You can find it on Etsy. It was made by I guess we're not supposed to talk about Russia right now. It was a Russian designer, but it was Russian conflict that it was purchased, and Russian artists don't have anything to do with the war, so whatever, unless
they're a sweet jacket.
It's a great jacket. I love it. So I had to wear that today. And then more background, because if you know me, then you probably know me from consulting in customer service or helping with spreadsheets and that kind of thing. So you might be wondering, what the heck is this person going to tell us about creative stuff and art stuff? But I am, maybe surprisingly, maybe not surprisingly, an art major. I actually did go to art school for a while for visual communication, which is fine art design and advertising. I will say I did not complete my education. I did not get my degree. I was going right at the 2007-2008 economy collapse. So everyone who was getting loans, basically were told they were no longer going to get loans the way that they were. And if they wanted to continue loans, they could go through these like 2 monopoly companies that were going to charge you a crazy amount of interest. Anyway, so I decided it was the best decision for me to not continue with art school at that time. So I am art schooled, but not art degreed. Yeah, I backed away from design for a while, but you just can't deny that design and art is a part of every business. Even if you're not an artist, you have to use some creativity for it. And that just is what it is. So thank you, Taryn, for dropping in the Slido in there. And if I talk really fast, I apologize. I am a fast talker, and especially when I get excited, and I get really excited about creative stuff. So here we go. Second disclaimer, because I've heard a lot of talk since Canva was started. People have been really concerned about like, well, they're trying to, get rid of designers. Designers are going to lose so much work. A lot of gatekeeping in the designer world about like I've seen some really, really rude memes about like the designers using Adobe products are like these svelte, fancy people, and then the people using Canva are like fat, slobby, like crappy work stuff. And that's not how it has to be. We're all just doing our best. And it's some people aren't ready to hire an expensive designer. And as someone who does design on the regular, I found that if you're using Canva and you're using Adobe products together, like you can streamline your work so dang fast because you can export things. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. They work really well together. So no displacement on designers. You can utilize it if you're a designer. You can utilize it if you're a beginner. You're still going to need a designer for doing logos and like super custom things. And who do you think is designing the custom pro content on Canva that you're using for your templates and graphics and stuff anyway? It's coming from designers. So it's all good. We don't have to hate on anybody.
I think that's a really cool thing to note there, that great tools like that, they uplift everybody at the same time. So they give designers an uplift too, and they give us an uplift if we don't want to hire a designer. And I think John on our last call talking about copywriting said it pretty well. I was asking him what he thought about the robot copywriter tools, and he said they're great. Like when he comes in, he doesn't want to start with a blank slate. He wants to start from something, and those are great at giving you something. So like experts like that, they appreciate having something to start from rather than nothing.
One of my favorite like freelance things that I do on the side is I help a creative arts company up in Washington State with their posters for concerts. And my favorite thing about it is that it lets me, like, I get to be like fast creative. And so it's just like, it just kind of like scratches an itch. And so basically I take something that another designer does. They do this big extravagant poster, and then they just need it to put into different formats. And the person who runs the company doesn't have the creative brain power to organize it the way that they want to in that format, but they also don't have the funds to hire their designer who made this Cadillac poster to do all the little nitty gritty, make this one for Facebook, make this one for a 8.5 by 11. So it's great for that kind of thing. A visionary could essentially hop into Canva, kind of put together what they want, an idea, and they're like, but I don't love it, and then hand it off to a designer, and then the either creative person on the team or a professional designer can reorganize it and take it to the top. So great. It's a great for brainstorming. You can also do flow charts and stuff on it too, which is kind of fun if you don't like using, I know that Taryn has a extreme hate for lucid chart. So you can kind of do things like that even in Canva. You can click and drag squares and stuff. I'm almost done with my nitty gritty stuff, I promise, and then we'll jump into a tour, which will be fun. But other side notes. So the base level of Canva is free. So if you're super starting out, just don't want to spend money on programs, don't want to do monthly fees, you can just do Canva for free. You are limited on some of the stuff you get to use, but really you still have all of your free formatting. You still have tons of free fonts. Tons of free graphics that you can use, lots of good basics to get you started. And so you don't have to pay anything for it, which is amazing also. Also, if you're a nonprofit or you're an educator, you just email them and you give them documentation that proves that you're one of those things, and they'll give it to you for free, the pro version for free for up to 10 seats, which is actually double what they give someone who pays for it. So that's huge. I run a nonprofit, I shouldn't say run. I help run a nonprofit moms group. And so I just sent them documentation of our 501(c)(3), and they said, okay, that's great. They gave us free Canva. And so now all the moms in our group, we can create public flyers to let people know when our meetings are coming up. We can create some content for the church that hosts us, so that we have advertising there. It's been amazing. And you can also basically create little commercials in Canva Pro. You can use animations, you can add music. And so you can do little stories and stuff for Facebook. It's just kind of a game changer for a little, for a nonprofit that doesn't have funding to do big things. If you want to start with Pro, if you pay for Pro, you get 5 seats on your team. And so you kind of have your umbrella company, and then you don't have to all share a login. You don't have to do anything tacky like that. You can assign 5 seats within your account so everyone can log in and contribute to the same folders, kind of like Google Drive when you're in G Suite. It works kind of the same way there. And you can either pay $120 a year, which really isn't that much, especially if you're a team of designers and you decide that you want to use Canva just because it's super quick and easy to use. Split that up between 5 people, $24 for a year of of getting fun stuff in the pro account, like that's not that bad. Or if you're someone that doesn't like to do like a whole chunk year sign up, you can sign up monthly. You can start and stop anytime. They're not going to penalize you for that. And that's $12 a month for pro. So if you have a challenge coming up or some big event coming up that you know that you're going to want to be doing like a lot of creative for it, ads, headers, that kind of thing, maybe you just sign up for $12 for the month. And then your team has all access to all this great content to create with. So let's dive in a little bit. Oops, Taryn, can you let me share?
Let's see. There you go.
All right. Let's go into my, have it open. Where do I have it open? Menu is hiding me.
You know, just to be clear, Kimberly, Lucidchart's great. I just spend way too long trying to make it perfect and all the little boxes lining up and all the little lines. And I spent twice as long doing that as filling in the content. It was driving me nuts.
That's why I did an org chart over there and I was like, forget it. Cause I had like the little line going between each. So I was like, forget it. The other half, the org chart is just not going to have the little lines and it's fine. It is fine.
So for that, Canva could drive you potentially a little bit. I'll show you. Well, that'll be an exercise that we'll do in a second. As we'll practice making a little flip chart together, so you can see the operations part of using Canva. That's nice, and then we can show some other creative things. So I want to kind of talk a little bit more about the differences between free and pro, because I do feel that pro is, for the price, it's so worth it. And so just kind of want to talk over some of those things. I even have a little chart that someone else graciously made and shared with everybody that has like some of the differences just kind of lined out, which I love. But the first thing that I want to show you guys, it's really cool in here that that you get with, actually, I think you get it with free, but you only get to use one, which is a brand kit. So you can see I'm logged into Aaron Hovivian's team because Aaron is the head of the Collab team. And so we are on his account here. I do have pro for myself because I kept doing, I was using the free version for myself. And then I kept being like, oh, but I want to do this feature. And then so I kept hopping into collabs and that made me feel dirty that I was using Aaron's account to do my own personal stuff. And so I just got myself an account. It was a treat to myself. Brand kit, you can see, okay, it does have the little crown next to it, which means that it's pro. So I don't think you get to use that. I don't think you get to use brand kit on the free. So you click that, and then you can see all of our little brands that we have under the umbrella of the Collab team.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that pretty cool? And so you click into it, and then you can see that I have all of our logos that we use and interchange between, all of our colors, and all the fonts. So what's nice about this is that when you create a new design, let's go to, let's make a Facebook post. So I just chose a Facebook post and it just chose for me the optimal size of what would go in a Facebook feed. So obviously Facebook and Instagram, like they let you have a little bit more freedom in what they post, but Canva, like they are constantly updating to be the most recent, like, you know, how Facebook always has in their help section, what their most recommended sizes for ads or headers or whatever, but it's like their own team doesn't update it fast enough. And so if you go and just look in the Facebook help center for what a size for a Facebook cover should be, it will be wrong. It will not be right. Like I can almost promise you that. I've done it so many times and I'm like, I just did what you said and it's not the right size. Like, what is wrong with you? But Canva's got your back. So I'm going to pick, actually, I'm not even going to do a template because we're just going to start with brand kit. So if I click text to add in some text, this is already set to being the Collab team's brand. So if I click any of these, if I want to add a heading, subheading, or body text, that is already our branded font. So I don't have to worry about adding it in, finding it, and which side note, I believe that Adobe, because Adobe knows that Canva is like on it. And so I've noticed that Adobe is starting to try and roll out some of these features. So you might have something like this in Adobe now, but before You didn't, and you would just put in your lorem ipsum whatever, and then you'd have to go and find what font it is and like adjust sizing and whatever. And so they're trying to do what Canva is doing and make it more user friendly, but you're going to pay $55 a month instead of $12 a month. Yeah, it's expensive, but I guess I should say Adobe is amazing. I also have Adobe subscription. Like I love it. You can do so much. You can do more with Adobe than you can with Canva. But if you're like starting with the basics and you're not trying to like custom design and draw your own things, Canva's got your back. You don't need to do Adobe. So yeah, so I can click any of those, and that is already our font that we would want it to be. So pretty cool. And then if I go down to logos, you'll see that I have our logos right there. You can just click whatever one you want. It plugs it right in. You can just click and drag on size. It's going to keep the dimensions, what's the word? Not perspective, proportionate for you. So you don't have to worry about skewing. If you wanted to skew it for whatever reason, I think you just hold shift. Nope, that crops it. Anyway, if you wanted to force it, I think there's a way that you could skew it, but you almost never want to skew it. So that's another thing that I love over Adobe, because Adobe, if you just click and drag, you're gonna mess it up and have to undo and go back.
Wow.
So that is, oh, and then brand kit for let me show you the colors. So that just automatically loaded to one of our main colors in our brand kit. If you click the little color up here, you can see that it is set to the Collab Team palette. So it'll recommend those right there, easy to grab. So if you're just going and highlighting a text that you want to change really quick, you're like, no, I don't really like that as the rust color. I think I want it gray. That is our gray. So it's amazing. If you want to work in a different brand, if you realize partway into a design, like, oh shoot, I'm working from the Collab Team brand, I don't want to work from that brand kit, I'm using the gap analyzer right now. Ta-da! There it is. It's very nice. Any questions so far about brand kit or anything?
Would that change the previous things you entered in too, or just the one you were working on?
Just the element that you're working on. So if I wanted to do, if I was doing like a Collab Team presents the gap analyzer, like I can use everything in this top part, working from the Collab Team stuff. And then, you know, down below, I can just switch the brand kit and then do everything in the gap analyzer one and switch back and forth as needed.
Nice.
It's pretty darn cool. Another thing that you can do in Canva Pro that you cannot do in Canva free is resizing while you're working on something. So if I'm working on a Facebook post and I'm like, you know, I really like this, but I forgot I actually don't want this for a Facebook post. I need this to be a header. So I can go up here to resize. Hope I could type. So Facebook event cover. And then it'll ask you if you want to copy and resize, which means it'll start a new document for you in the new size, or you can just click resize and it'll take everything that you've done and apply it to that. You will, of course, have to reorganize things a bit once it does that because you weren't working in that size, but it's pretty easy peasy. If you have the free version though, there is a way that you can do it that is fine. So if you wanted to, if you have the free version and you realize partway through a design that you need to change the size, we're just going to use one of these templates here. Replace the current page. So I made that a Facebook cover and I'm like, oh shoot, I wanted that to be a Facebook post. Like this is too wide. I need it to be a different size. You click the plus up here to start a new design. And then you can choose what size you want it to be. So we'll say that instead we want to go back to having it be a Facebook post. And then all you got to do is you can just click and drag all the things. So you click and drag over the whole thing to select everything. Control or Command C to copy. Go over to your new one. Control or Command V to paste. And it just put everything over that was on that one over to this one. Of course, the background color didn't carry over, so you'll need to still plug in the black, but everything else carried right over. So you can then click all the elements individually and move them where you need them to be and make them bigger to fit, all that good stuff. So it's a pretty easy workaround, I feel.
Like ramen. In case you're curious.
You like ramen?
Yeah.
It's pretty good. We don't have any fancy ramen here. That was like when the fancy ramen started breaking out everywhere. It was like right when we were moving back to Wyoming. I was like, oh man, I'm going where everything's vanilla flavor. Nothing against vanilla, but Kimberly, are you talking to us?
Talking to herself.
Okay. All right. So one last pro feature that I want to show you guys before we just jump into the template or the chart that I can show you guys the differences is I just wanted to show you guys background removal from a photograph. It's really cool if you're about to do a challenge or an event. And of course, we know that faces sell, like people relate to people and they like to see faces in advertising. You're going to get more clicks usually if you have faces in your stuff, not just cartoon face, but like your picture, because they want to know who they're talking to, who they're trusting. Faces build trust. So I'm going to go over to the side here and hey, look, I got all of our collab stuff here. Lovely Ben's picture already has the background removed, so I'm not going to use that one, but we'll bring Drew in here. So I just used these pictures for our coffee experts masterclass that just happened. And so this feature, like if you do this in Photoshop, I think again, they're trying to get better about making it really easy to do so that they can compete with Canva, because in the past, the way that you would remove a background, like when I was in art school, the way that we would remove a background, we had like a whole section of a class dedicated to it. You have to use a little pen tool and you have to draw with these little pinpoints around your subject and then click and drag these little anchor points to make sure that you got the curve just right. And then it always comes out looking kind of like a robot. So then you're having to use Photoshop to like, it's a mess. So on Canva, they make it just, you know, it's basically an app. So I clicked it. I'm going to go to edit image. And then they have background remover. And then you can see they have the little crown on there, which means it's a pro only feature. So we're just going to click it. It's going to think about it for a second. Ta-da!
Wow.
Yeah, it's just fast and easy. And every now and then, like you'll see the one that I had on the panel that was Aaron's that has like our logo on it and a couch and light fixtures and stuff. There might be some things that break through that you don't want, but it's really easy to get rid of or bring back. So if there's a part of the background that I decided that I wanted to keep, you can adjust the brush size. You can even show the original image in the back. It'll make it slightly transparent so you can see what part has already been cut away and what part hasn't. And then I can be like, well, there's a little thing right here and I really want that to still be part of it. And you say that you're done and then it brought it back.
That's pretty neat.
Yep. I love it. So then, just to show you guys like how nice it is. So say I wanted him to be, you know, I wanted to place Drew in a coffee shop because he's in the coffee master.
Oh yeah.
So oops, not graphics, let's do photos. So I'm gonna make that as big as the whole window.
Can you, yeah, that would be fun.
And then position. So position, you can either change like where it's oriented on the page. So it makes that super easy. So if you want your logo to be like smack center in something, or if you want something justified to the right or left, top or bottom, you can just do it that way. It also helps if you're trying to line things up. So we'll dig into that when I show you guys, when we try and make our fun little flow chart together. I'll show you guys how we can kind of like make shapes and stuff line up different ways. But then you also here, you can change where it's at as far as layers in the page. So if you want something to be behind or in front of, foreground, background. So I just made it so that is in the background. So look at that. He's in a coffee shop now.
Whoa. He looks like he's drinking coffee there.
I could even add a photo of someone holding a coffee cup and try and make it would look really awkward, but it's still, we could do it. So yeah, just bringing all the elements together, like we're, you know, like we just basically like made a cover for a Facebook group, like in less than 5 minutes. Like it's just really easy.
Wow.
I love it.
Yeah, I'd join that group.
We need to make it, we need to make him a logo that's for his koala tea, but That's his social media screen name, so he doesn't have to use his human name. Anyway, so I am going to show you guys really quick. Okay, I just saw Kimberly's comment. Okay, so I'm going to jump in here. Oops, it's not in there. I have it open in. No, I don't.
So are you working off a Canva app?
There's an app for your phone that is slightly less user-friendly. And then there is a desktop app as well. So I'm using the desktop app. You can use it on their website as well, but the website feels clunkier to me, maybe just because I'm a klutz and I always have 10,000 tabs open. So I accidentally close what I'm working on all the time. But another thing that Canva has on it that Adobe, I think that it's another thing that they're implementing, but they're less good at. Canva auto saves. Like every time you do something, it auto saves. So if it accidentally gets closed, like when you open it back up again, it's going to be exactly where you were at. Adobe products will do kind of an auto save, but basically they make you feel really bad about yourself for accidentally closing. Like they'll be like, we found this file that was open, but it was never saved. Did you want to open that? And then it's usually like close to what you were doing last, but they don't even give you like your working title that you had anymore or anything. It's just like found file.ai. You're like,
gosh.
Thanks. Like I already know that I had to force close my computer and it sucked. So thanks. But it's nice that they have recovery at all because they used to not have recovery at all. And then that was a scary time. Somewhere here it is. So someone lined out line by line, like the differences between pro and free, which is really nice. If anyone wants this, if you're thinking about diving into pro and you don't want to do the Googling, like we can send you this image that someone created. But basically it's just kind of saying that you get less with Canva free. The main things that I showed you are the main differences. Oh, see, look, you can do, that tells me that you can do brand kit on free, but you're limited to 3 colors. Interesting. But you can't do logos and font. So that's something to note. You can't do videos on free. So like where I was telling you, you can do like your little kind of video advertisements and add music and everything in the pro version. You cannot do that on free. And then you can't resize, but I showed you guys the workaround on how to do that. It's not a huge deal. Transparent background. So that's another thing that's really nice is if you create a logo in Canva, you can take their elements together, combine them. By the way, if you just take an element and you just plug it into the middle and then you try and save it, they frown on that. I think that is breaking copyright law because then you're just about to take someone's design and then just use it as your own. So you want to make sure that you're like creating something with the elements that they offer. But if you are creating a logo, you want it to have a transparent background. You don't want to see white behind your logo. It's going to look really stupid when you're putting it on your website or your content. And so on the free version, you cannot save with a transparent background. So you want to make sure that whatever you're designing fills the entire canvas that you're working from. Scheduler, didn't even go over scheduler. You have a content calendar within Canva. Let's go there.
Transparent backgrounds is very important too. I feel like that's an easy one where they can get you at.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that's one of the reasons that I kept using Aaron's pro account, that I kept jumping from my free, because I'm like, oh, I made this fun thing. I'm excited to like make it a sticker or whatever. And then I can't save it the way that I want to save it. And I'm like, well, I could load it into Illustrator and remove the background that way, but I don't wanna. So then I would just share it with, yeah. Anyway, so content calendar, so you can create a design and then you can plug it into a day on the calendar. So you can basically like what you use, like I think people pay like Hootsuite. There's some other good ones out there, but most of them are paid. Not that Canva isn't paid, but you're already getting so many other features that this is like a really good bonus. You can plan your content to post to your different channels. So you link in your Facebook and your Instagram. I don't think you can link like TikTok and stuff, but I know for a fact you can link in Facebook and Instagram and maybe LinkedIn, and then have it auto post for you. So you're not even have to think about it. You can just block in some time on a Sunday, or if you don't work on Sundays, obviously you can do it on a weekday. And get like all of your marketing kind of set up for your social media accounts within a couple of hours, which is, that's like operations work hack tool, like block out your work, get it all done in a small chunk, and then it's doing work for you for the rest of the month. So if you're not already using some kind of plugin, like you should do something like that.
And you said that'll post to your account for you.
You get to choose the time, you get to choose the account. It's kind of magical. It's really nice. And then usually Facebook or the app will give you a little pop-up like on your phone that's like, by the way, it's 10 a.m. So we just posted that content for you. And so what's also nice about that is if you're trying to, we're always trying to hack the algorithm. And so there's like different times of different days that work better as far as posting, which I feel like right now it's kind of a crapshoot. Like Facebook algorithm is insane to me. But you can Google different like optimized times. And then if you're like me, you lose track of time completely. So you're like, I'm going to post this thing at this time on Monday, because that's the most optimized time to post a thing for the algorithm. But then you're changing a diaper or you're making lunch or you have another meeting. And then all of a sudden it's 3 hours past when you meant to post the thing. And you're like, I don't want to wait till next Monday to try to do that again. I know. She's being an example for me. And then you miss the algorithm time, and then you're just posting whenever you can and just saying a prayer that it does what you want. I'm going to bring in my sidekick because she wants to be a part of the conversation.
Yep, it's time. Let's get her in here.
There she is. Okay.
There we go.
Well, let's look over this and make sure we didn't miss any important things that I did not think about. High-res download. If you're working predominantly online, you don't have to worry a ton about high-res download unless you're creating something that you want to use as like a big like page fill background on your website. If you are trying to work in print, if you want to do some poster flyers or something like that, high-res download is important because printing is where resolution really matters. I mean, not that you don't want things pixelated, you don't want things pixelated on your website either, but regular resolution is usually fine. So let's make a fun little flow chart. See if it looks too frustrating.
Yeah.
Be like, fuck it, Lucid chart.
Ready for a flow chart?
Let's just do letter size. Oops.
Feeling really left out. Everybody in this call is a child.
Where's your kitties? Where's your puppy?
I'm sleeping somewhere else.
Dang it. Puppies and kids are very much the same up to a certain age. So
yeah, but I can put mine into a kennel and leave for hours.
Yeah, I really wish I could. I've had 3 people ask me to make Friday plans, and I'm like, I have both my kids that day, and one of my children is feral, and no one's gonna have a good time if I bring her with me. So, maybe I could lock her in a kennel. Maybe that's the answer.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? I'd probably get some. Don't call CPS on me. So you already have lines and shapes in here as soon as you choose elements. Everything good? Anybody have questions? I thought I heard someone ask something.
We're good.
Okay. So on the side panel here, this is where everything lives that you are going to pick from for your design. So elements is where you're going to find your fun clip art, any photos that they provide for you, or uploads is where you upload something yourself. So they already have shapes here that you can just kind of flip through what's available here in their little lineup, or you can choose see all and you can see all the shapes. Or if you're looking for something specific, you can just type it up here. So I can say like star. They'll bring up all the stars that they have. And then you can choose if you want to have, I wanted a photograph of stars. And I think that most of that means is like, this is not a transparent background.
Mm.
That one's actually a photo of stars. Ooh, that's pretty. And then graphics are going to be ones that have a transparent background. So when you choose something like that, like you're just getting the texture, you're not getting a white or black background. So we'll choose that. If you choose something that's a solid color, then you get to edit the colors in it. If you pick something that is animated, or you pick something that is like a photograph, they won't let you edit the colors that are within that shape. So obviously that came in white, so we can't see it. So I'm going to change the color. And we're going to make it a green star.
Can you just give it an outline?
I know with text you can, which is also a fun hack if you're using both Canva and Adobe products like Adobe Illustrator at the same time. So you make something cool in Canva, but you want to tweak it in Illustrator in some kind of specific way that Canva can't do for you. But Canva has a font that you do not own in Illustrator, or if you're using something other than Illustrator, because in Illustrator, if you're paying for a monthly subscription to Adobe, I think all of those come with Typekit, which is like basically a subscription to their font library as well. But they don't have all the fonts that Canva has, and vice versa. But if you're using something free, like I think GIMP or Inkspace, those are free ones, and those ones don't have any like premium fonts included. So Canva will probably have some things that you don't have available in those, in which case you can go to, I'm just gonna put that in there. You can go to effects, and then you can choose how you want, you can do all these fun things with the text to make it sexy. If you choose hollow, that turns it into an outline. So then when you go to export, which you're going to click share and then download, and then you're going to choose the file, the type of file that you want to download it as. You download it as a PDF, and then that's going to export that as an outlined shape instead of a font. Because if you download a PDF that has a specific font and then you try to open it in a program that doesn't have that font, it's going to say, we don't know what that is. And they're going to give you like Arial to use instead. So little hack on taking your premium fonts with you where you go. Just put them in. So that's gone. Okay. So obviously we don't typically do flow charts with a star, but I'm just gonna, because I already put the shape there. So it's going to be a fancy flow chart. And then what we're going to do next is we're going to take a line, and then you can rotate, and it'll tell you how many degrees you're rotating it by. So we want to rotate that 90 degrees. I think I could have just typed in vertical line also into search, and it would have given me what I wanted, but oh well, we're doing it. So I'm going to put that right there, and then I'm going to position it backwards so you can't see it. And then we'll make it just a little bit shorter. So say you wanted to have, first I'm going to group it. So when you group an item, so you select both of them at the same time, I'm going to hold shift and I'm going to click it. So I have both of them at the same time. Now I'm going to group it. So that just made it so it's basically one shape. So if I adjust the size of that, then I'm adjusting both at the same time, and I don't have to worry about placement of either one. So say we're making a flow chart here, and you're like, well, I have this person at the top, and then I have 3 people below that same person. So I need to have 3 more of those. So you can Command or Control copy, Command or Control paste, and then you can just do your thing.
Nice. I like that. I like the grouping. That makes it so nice.
Yeah. So what's really nice about that is if you're going to be working in a bunch of different sizes, baby's trying to break all the toys. If you're going to be working in different sizes, but you know that there's some things that you want to kind of always travel together. So maybe you have like your logo, and then like, so if we have like the Gap app, it'd be like Gap app presented by the Collab team. And so you want those to kind of always travel together. When you're moving that about in your different sizing, like if those are grouped, then you don't have to worry about accidentally grabbing one and pulling it away and then having to like makeshift and get the other one in the same spot.
Yeah. Wow.
And then if I'm like, well, that's really big and takes up my whole page, and I don't want it to be like that, you can do subgrouping. So all those stars are individually linked to their lines, but now I can also group them all together like that.
Wow.
Now I can click and drag, and then I can, put it there. And then so I have the whole thing. I think I can, yep. So I just copied and pasted the whole thing. So now you can keep going that way.
Wow.
I don't know how helpful that is versus Lucidchart, but it's
I like it.
pretty darn cool.
I
I mean,
think
it's a tree.
Yeah, the next org chart I have to make, I'm using stars. I think it just feels better.
Everyone gets a gold star. Maybe they all need to be like yellow or something though.
Yeah,
So everyone can feel extra good about
we're
themselves.
not boxes.
We're not boxes. We're all stars.
I like that. Sweet.
So yeah, I'm trying to think about any other fun. I don't think you can make things fillable, like a fillable PDF in here, but you can make PDF documents like our Delegate and Elevate form. If you've been privy to using the Collab Team's Delegate and Elevate, that was created in Canva. I did use Adobe products to make it fillable, so there's that.
Oh, so you don't make them fillable in Canva?
I don't think you can. And fun fact, because there's the Adobe Acrobat Reader, which is free, you cannot make things fillable and free. You have to have the premium version of the Adobe Reader. There is a free workaround, but you're going to be going to a website that you may or may not trust and learning how to use their features and do it that way. But there are free ways to make a PDF fillable as well. It's just faster with.
Well, I like that. I like the org chart.
So we can shove it in Aaron's face if you make an org chart in Canva from now on. And I think we can actually rotate this too. So I just made this letter, but if we wanted to do it, because I know org charts are typically more horizontal. I wonder if you could just under resize file. Pretty sure you can rotate it sideways. I don't remember how. That's what I'm doing. But it's a thing that can happen. Oh, I guess I should also just a quick thing, show you guys that if you are in several organizations that all use Pro, you can go in between those organizations just from your little drop-down menu. So I have my personal, that's what I do my own fun stuff from for my own business. And then I have my mom's group that we're all in. So you can see that we have 4 members in there. I have 1 member in mine and then 4 members in Aaron's team. And then if I wanted to go to where we all share things with each other. So when you create a design yourself, you don't have to share that with the world. If you're not ready, you can keep it to yourself in your own folder. The other team doesn't see it, but you can choose to share it with your team. And then everybody can utilize that. So what we'll do for team working and stuff, because all of us are on the Collab team are like a little bit creative or different visions for what we want. So we'll create a design in Canva, share it to the team, and then you can choose, like Google, what editing permissions you want to allow. And so as long as you allow the team to fully edit it, I don't think you can control individually. Like, I don't think I could be like, Stephanie can edit this, but Taryn can't. I think it's just like the team can edit it or they can't. But then they can open it on theirs, tweak what they want to tweak, and then, finesse it. So it's also nice for proofreading. Then you're not having to grab links or download the whole document and then send it off in email. You can just be like, hey, I just shared that to Canva. Can you hop in Canva really quick and look at that thing that I just shared and change anything that you want to change? So it definitely streamlines approvals for visuals and stuff. Look, there's our Delegate and Elevate. So just done with some shapes, some copying and pasting, a little bit of brand kit. It's good stuff. Well, should we hop over to Slido?
Yeah, I think the last little feedback I give about this is kind of that integration back into ops. If you're not even just designing ads or creatives, the one and only time I used Canva was actually for a client proposal. So it was something that I needed to create for somebody. It's not a design thing. It wasn't something I could send out to somebody else. It was me just making something look better than it was created in a Word document. And we had client proposal templates in our thing already ready to go. So it was just a great way for me to present something to somebody that looked nicer. And you can do that. You can do that across the board. It could be things you're taking back to your team. Maybe you're the tech leader and you have a new proposal to take back to your team and you just want to make it look like you spent 15 extra minutes on it. Is a great way to do that. So it's not just all about, making ads or making things that only designers do. It was a great tool for just making things look like you spent a little more time on it.
Or hired somebody expensive to do it for you. Because like Google tries to help you make things pretty, but it doesn't do a great job. And it looks like you just, used Google or Microsoft to do a thing. So
yeah, that's for sure.